Ladies and gents, welcome back to the EU Pro League here for Gears 5. My name's Son. I'm here with Toby Campbell, and first game is already done. Don't think you've missed. You actually have missed everything. If you were tuning in thinking, maybe I can get in the third or second map here, no, escalation has changed. It's over in about 3 minutes now. That was a really, really quick game out of EU's finest. I think we're maybe ourselves are adjusting to the 5 rounds. We're like, wow, that was over so fast. But EU's finest, very dominant. A pretty convincing win against Obey Alliance as well, and they'll be really happy with that. But I was having a quick check through Twitter, just a couple of GGs, etc. Nothing too crazy coming out of either team. I think Obey Alliance probably just accepted the fact that EU's finest were a much better team in that game.
100%. I think Obey, just like EU's fans, will be happy that was a first to 5 because every single round played in a very similar fashion. EU's finest, they get an advantage, they get a kill, they get a power weapon, they get map control once, and it just seems like the round is over there and then, right? And EU's finest, they weren't making any mistakes, and if they're not making mistakes, it is incredibly difficult to beat them for anyone in the globe. Let's be real.
This is more team. Like the EU's finest. I thought we would see this. So I'm really interested to see how they do in San Diego, which is obviously in a couple of weeks' time. Super excited to be watching that one. We'll be at home. I'm sure we'll be just. Hey, we could do like a live change in gear, mate. We'll think. We'll get back to you on that one. But either way, we've got another game coming here. We do expect this one to be a lot closer. Rdamage going up against Rated R. Now, these two teams, last time they met, was a relatively close game. It was 2-0 at Rdamage, but Rated R have been this team. Even when they lose, they never really look too far behind. In all honesty, they don't make it easy, and they're one of these teams who can steal rounds away. They may be at the bottom of the league, but they're no spring chickens. Let's say they are a very hard team to beat. Will they be hard to beat this time, though? Rdamage looked really good against EU's finest last week. However, I think this is an easier task for them. They've already beat them before. Rated R could be in a bad spot. They are in a bad spot, but are they in a bad spot mentally? Are they thinking, this is terrible, we're sitting at the bottom? Or are they going to be going into this game against Rdamage and saying to themselves, we could potentially win this?
Rated R have beaten Rdamage before, but as it stands currently, Rated R, they're not doing too well. Rdamage, meanwhile, they're getting stronger. Many would argue they're going from strength to strength. And the question is, as you said, is this affecting Rated R mentally? Today they need to make those plays that win them rounds, and they need to play amazing as individuals, but also as a team. And I think they have to hit the ground running. And from this first map, I feel as though they need to take it. Otherwise, Rdamage will cruise through with how they've been performing recently. In terms of specifics, we know what Rated R play like. They play extremely aggressively. If their shotguns aren't on tonight, you really do hope they are. If they're not on tonight, I don't see them winning. So mentally, it's important that they're there, very much on an individual basis. Okay,
well, let's have a look at the picks and bans to give us a better idea of which way we think this one will swing. Exhibit has gone from Rated R. No surprises there. That Icebound has gone from Rdamage. Rated R very solid at Icebound. A District pick by Rdamage, who did beat Rated R on this one last time these two played, but it was a 7-6, so a close one there. Vasgar will be played with these two, so I'll be interested to see how that one plays out with the new changes coming into Escalation. That's one coming in from Rated R. Training Grounds is then gone by Rated R. Bunker gone from Rdamage, and Asylum is what we'll play last, which is pretty standard. Trying to think towards these picks, have I seen Rdamage even play Vasgar? I don't think I have. Top of my head, no. Maybe potentially. I'll try and get that confirmed during the series, but I haven't seen them play it as far as I'm aware. So Vasgar coming out. District there as well. This is questionable. I'm not 100% sure where this one goes, because Rated R have had a couple of close maps on Vasgar, but I think they've lost it both times they played it, as far as I'm aware. We'll get the stats up at the beginning of the map, and that'll help me decide whether I'm just completely talking rubbish here. But I think, if you're Rated R here, you maybe pick Vasgar and say, you know what, we're not bad at Vasgar, we haven't seen Rdamage play it, let's throw something different in here to see what we can do with it. And all rolled into that is the changes coming in Escalation as well. So bear that in mind. What are we thinking? For me, I am quite happy for Rated R with this pick.
Yeah, I think it's positive for Vasgar. I think if you're Rdamage, equally so. It's not too crazy, this map pick. It's pretty predictable. Meanwhile, we don't see District often. However, I do feel as though both teams are pretty good at this map from what I've seen.
I said a super close game last time they played.
Exactly, and they've had close games. Vasgar, they've had plenty of practice over Rated R and had some really great games individually and as a team. Asylum is perhaps the most common map here in Gears Esports, and that's going to be the finalizing factor if we do need it. But no, I mean, it all depends, I guess, how these initials go. To be honest with you, I think Rated R, that's their strength in Gears Esports, and they need to come out swinging. District, it can be an extremely aggressive map if you do position your players accordingly, and I'll be looking towards Bannister and Cinema for Rated R to see if they're being aggressive and making these big pushes, or will Rdamage be having their way as they have been recently. Good point though you made though, of course, of Vazkar with the new weapon placements in terms of drop and boom not being close to spawns. Curious to see if a boom or drop is thrown down that center of the map. We know how open it is in Vazkar and how the lanes intersect. That could be a big map decider, even if a team does decide to throw a weapon down there, and that might actually be a good choice of Rated R. They like it scrappy. They like these hard and fast initials. That could be the secret for them for that second map. Yeah,
I think, we were having a look at the stats beforehand here as well, and one of the things that we sort of were pointing out in this specific matter that has now changed. You've got to play your life a little bit more, and Rated R, where mostly, I think it was 5 of the top 9 most deaths out of the 20 players in the European Pro League. So, I mean, they're all in there. Yes, okay, with them being bottom of the leaderboard, you probably would expect it, but let's see the maps that they actually have to make sure they don't die on so many times. District, Vazkar, and Asylum in that order. Of course, we'll only see Asylum if we are one apiece as we go into that one in a best-of-3 format. But yeah, we've been talking about deaths and how you need to really play your life a little bit more. That doesn't play into the Rated R theory of how to play Gears 5, does it? It's more so about hit hard, hit fast, see what you can do, but if they don't win those initials, they're going to really struggle here against Rdamage.
I mean, that could be a potential criticism, honestly, as Rated R as a team. Yeah, it's a strength of theirs being able to fight on these initials, but other teams have adapted and got more flexible, and even had players like Saki getting in the thick of it and winning those shotgun battles for likes of Obey. You feel as though Rated R might, need to have something a bit hidden up their sleeves at this point to deal with it when they don't have the kills going their way. You said it, 5 of them in the top 9 for deaths total, and so honestly, are Rated R going to turn up just the same and continue to rely on initials and not succeed? Or are they going to come and really prove that they're really top players with these shotguns in Europe and see what they can do here on District? I don't think we've said map count in terms of predictions just yet, Chris.
I'm going to go Rdamage 2-1.
2-1?
Yeah.
Okay. Honestly, I'm going to side with my boys in Rdamage. I'm going to say 2-0.
Okay.
I'm going to side with them. I think it'll be fairly close maps. It honestly depends. It could be anything at this point that could set Rated R off or sink their heads, but they definitely have a lot to prove, Chris. That's the the summary, I guess, of the analysis. Pre-match analysis of Rated R. They have a lot to prove that they aren't out of this Pro League just yet. They're sitting at the bottom. Can't wait to see if they can do just that.
Well, Rated R, the only time they've played this map was against Rdamage, and they lost that one 7-6, of course. First to 5 this time round, though, and if I remember rightly, Rated R were in a really good spot. They were in the lead the majority of the game as well. It was only Rdamage who came flying back into it. That changed the course of how that series played out. They won that 2-0 last time round. Can they do the same again? So we think so. I reckon Rated R might push them that one map further, but I think that's as far as it goes. I think Rated R, unfortunately, now in a bad spot. Rdamage are getting better as time goes on, and let's see how this one plays out. Nicely done by Strikers straight off the rip there. Sergio, who's been probably the most impressive player on my side of things from Rated R. In all honesty, I think he's been a devastating opponent to go up against. His movement is fantastic. He gets wiped out pretty much straight away. The setup from Rdamage is solid. They get a hold of C, they get a hold of B, and they have control.
Yep. You can see Strikers following him through this initial. Now he's going to cross down on Rated R from blue. Cougar's going to try and sit back, but no, he's not actually going to keep his legs, shall we say. He's down on the floor. The reinforcements come through. Strikers does find kills, and Dragons are still lurking, though. Not sure if
he's dead.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was a good decision. Will lead to his death as Cougars and Co do start to push up on Leonard here. And
yeah, Leonard should be dead here. 1,000,000% should be dead. They will find the shots into him. Already weak. He's going to get taken down. The home hill setup about to come through for Rdamage. They've lost B, but they actually have. Zokos over there just trying to cause some issues. The domination would come through if they stayed on the floor, but either way, he is going to be found. And I think, if you're Rated R here, you have to make a decision what you're going to do. You're going to go back to your home hill, or try at least go back to your home hill. Looks like the control is coming in from Rdamage, but they will back on down and probably start to concentrate some of these resources over towards B. They did have a home hill set up, but the rotation will have to come through if they want to get anything done here.
Nice angles from Toast and Sergio there down to the banister, which will open things up just a little bit for rated R. Meanwhile, Rdamage are being super aggressive. Cougars, he's ran from blue all the way through to green to the enemy's home hill and has a little bit of an angle here on Dragons and Co. on the C hill. So Rdamage, they can take their time, set up around their own home hill to regain control, but they will have to deal with this player right here in blue hiding out as Reader looks to flank. He's going to have to get a kill here really quickly before Rdamage start regrouping. Meanwhile, actually, Baghdad, he'll get taken down. Domination does blink for a second, but respawn timer does favour rated R, but points Rdamage.
Rdamage looking solid here. After both the home hills, nicely done. Yeah, by Dove, just going to try and get away. Doesn't manage to do that. They get a hold of B fairly easily. Zorkos and Kodo, they'll be happy with this one. They're in a good spot. They are well and truly in the lead here. I think a one cap would probably do them here as well.
Yep.
Let's have a look as they are going to capture A here, rated R. Will Rdamage be able to win? Yes, they will. 50 seconds time is all they need. Cougar's just trying to play his life here. Is going to get taken down. Sergio and Kodo trying to get something done here. Push is going to have to come through over towards C. They nearly decapped that one. Not quite, though. And the kills will go in the favour of Rdamage. They should be able to win this round. 30 seconds remaining, though, and there is still time for rated R here.
Yep, only Dragons does remain alive here currently for rated R. And he's just going to have to sit on B for the time being. This is a one last big final push. Can Dragons reach C in time, though? He's going to have to go on an epic mission because no other teammate, I don't think, will be able to reach anywhere in time. Will he play for his life? No. He's actually going to keep going, as Rdamage do take this quite comfortably indeed.
Yeah, it's a comfortable one. You're very right. 3 minutes and 20 seconds. It does take the length of the round, if you like, but they will get it done on points. Nicely done by Rdamage. They just grounded out, in all honesty. I think, you look at the eliminations there, fairly close to a point. It is definitely Rdamage favoured, but not too far away. So rated R at the races, if you like, but still, Rdamage, it's just control, isn't it? They just played those home hill spawns.
Yeah,
home hill points much better. To be honest, they kept flip-flopping between them, just chipping away. Drop shot already placed in round number 2, and that was out of rated R. So, right, they want to play their strengths, which are these initials.
And they're setting it early as well, Chris. This is exactly what you need. You're not liking the home hill battle. Decide very early on, because it's now first to 5. Hey, we want this team fight over at the B hill. And throw the drop shot down to force exactly that. You can see its numbers heavy for both teams. Sergio, that star player for Radar, getting in the thick of it. Oh no, Physics does find strikers though. Sergio will get taken down meanwhile, but it is neck and neck, back and forth. Dragons, nice little pick of the drop shot though, as he's got one left in the chamber.
He's going to force Zorkos away, but will get a hold of that drop shot as said. And that should be useful, helping Rdamage, rated R get control of the map. They will get control of B, you feel, in a second, and the push is actually going to come over towards the bottom side of the map here. They may actually go for the domination. They're considering it, but they need to send somebody back over towards B to get a hold of that point. They will do. Here comes the drop shot. Cougars is dead. Now here comes the push through over towards A. Strikers is there with the Lancer to try and shove Dragons away. The shotgun fire coming through. It's a big gunfight. Those Strikers just put himself in the firing line here. Is going to have to back off. Plenty of shots put in by Dragons, and they have now forced the issue. You can see the push is actually going to come through the mid-map. It's a big flash coming out of Dragons as well. Pushes through, finds one, can't find the second. The push now coming out of Rdamage as well, just trying to defend themselves here. Sergio's going to find a couple, as is the rest of the team. This should be the domination coming through for rated R, and that is more like it from them. Not quite able to get B. Called it a little bit early, but eventually it will come through for rated R. And that's all off the back of these initial kills. They get the fight over towards B fairly convincingly. They then rotate this power weapon over quite nicely, shut down the pressure in the mid-map, and can just converge on that home side so quickly. And it's so hard when you're respawning for Rdamage there. It's such a choke point you got to get through. And the fact that you've lost control of Juice as well, you are Lancered off spawn, essentially. Yeah. So really hard spot to be in. Rated R just pressured all the right areas of the map when they had the advantages and take a comfortable round. Nicely done.
Shout out to Dragons the whole time. Played that flawlessly. Didn't waste any drop shots. And was patient enough for his teammates to regroup. And
you could argue he wasted the first
plays.
one, but he had to do it to you know, force them away.
To keep his life as well.
Just to point out quickly that a shot grenade has been put down for the side of our damage, and on the other side of things is the smoke. So this will make a difference when it comes towards this drop shot push as we now enter it now, and it's going to be a big shot grenade. Probably going to come over in a second here. Strikers trying to get aggressive, but Sergio is there in the corner trying to get something done. He will go down once again. Strikers is up. The shot grenade didn't really find a great deal, but it just zoned off an area where you would want to push if you're rated R. So well done by Rdamage. They win the gunfight this time round.
Yep, great response from Rdamage. As Leonard will get taken out. Can Cougar stay alive in this process? No, he cannot. But will it matter? As Rita will look to be a bit aggressive in terms of position. This is the important part. Rdamage can leave that drop shot. Yes, they can. He's right behind his strikers. One does get down, but a lovely drop shot, and that should see the round out. Bar a miracle from Dragons. Does he get the break on B? Yes, he does, and that does find some time. Strikers bouncing left and right, but the respawns coming in as Leonard comes through. Will that blink over? No, somehow Toast does stay alive for a second. Sergio coming through. Cougars regroups from the B hill. That should be it. They have the numbers. The respawns do not come through this time. Excellent from Rdamage. Very happy with that, Chris.
Yep. It's just so important you win that initial. It's so important you win that initial, especially when these drops now come through. And because you don't have so much to ride on your home hill, or on your home drop, I should say. I keep saying home hill. On your home drop, it's one of these things where you really do have to put a lot of stock into those mid drops. It wouldn't surprise me to see something maybe come through on the mid drop once again. But that time round as well, for Rdamage, you had the advantage of having a hold of that shot grenade as well. This time round, though, they are going to give up that advantage that they did have and just go for the home loadout. So yes, okay, they got a little bit more to play with, but I would have liked to see them maybe start to use, you know, that advantage they had on the home drops and keep it rolling. Just keep it rolling, so you're always one step ahead in that respect to help you get a hold of this mid push. Of course, this drop shot now, which was placed in by Rated R, that's a really bad flash by Strikers.
Himself.
Yeah, he has.
Back out. No, he's not going to have that opportunity. Dragons does find him. Meanwhile, last round of the half here. So, will things change? In the meantime, Zorkos will find Dragons. He has the time to do so. A revive comes through for Rated R, and they have numbers advantage here, so it's not over just yet for Rated R. Nice shotgun in. Will allow Cougars actually rotate as well, so it's not just over yet. Drop shot picked up. Here come Rdamage to prevent that drop pickup, and they do find that. Sergio wasn't able to backpack it in time, I don't think, so Rita will get a drop shot, or will he?
No, he didn't.
No, he was backpacked in time. Well done, Sergio. Heads up play as he saw the French players fly over to him on his screen.
Rdamage now, though. Quite happy to lance a Roya here and keep Toast and Co. away from this B site. Toast is now going to be dropped as well, so he will be taken down. They should be able to hold this. Couple of kills going to come in the favour this time round of our Rdamage Cougars. Put some shots into Strikers, letting them know.
Suppressing fire for some reason.
Pushing through now. It's a big gunfight for Sergio to try and win. He's going to take some bullets here, though. A 1v2. He's going to drop Strikers and manage to get away as well. Nicely done. And it will just stave off the push of Rdamage as they did look for a domination, but they are still the ones in control here. 5v5 though again. Everybody back up.
Rdamage can relax a little now, Chris. They've got map control. They've got points control. Strikers with a double, meanwhile, though, catching out two players. I don't think they were aware of Strikers' position in there. And that's allowing Strikers to pull off such a play so quickly. Physics will find Sergio, but Rdamage already overextending using that numbers they found from Strikers' plays. Toe should get taken down. The respawn's coming through, but they will recover. Check the points. Rdamage, they just need to play their lives at this point. Don't allow domination potential to come true for Rated R. And just wait for the respawns.
The thing is here, though, Rita did actually have a hold of the drop shot, but he has been killed by a Dob, so that's influential for Rated R. They can maybe try and get something done here. It's a big flash by Dragons. Will at least decap. Cougars and Co trying to get something done. It's going to be Leonard try and push through Juice. He will be dropped, though. It should be Rdamage getting control once again. They're going to be able to use their numbers to get through. Dragons was dropped on the other side of things, and they will be able to capture it just about. Dov is there to try and seal the deal here for Rated R, but it is the kills coming in the favour of Rdamage. Toast now having to back on down. And just holding the position he is in. Inside of Juice, he will back down, though, and Toast and Co. We're in a really good spot there, but maybe got a little bit over-aggressive, and Rdamage now are hunting. And they don't really need many points here. They're going to get a hold of B. They'd win off one. They'll definitely win off two. They will actually just eliminate if the rest of the team don't respawn back up. That's 3-1 now to Rdamage.
Yep, lovely job. I was about to criticise actually Reader going down there in the centre of the map and perhaps opening the way for Rated R potential for domination, but no, perhaps not a little bit. Not too organised with Rated R there in the end, making those final plays, and Rdamage just having their way. 3-1 the score. Of course, we're going into the second half now. E-Hill down at the bottom, so you'd argue DROPSHOT isn't as important a place now to win. Question is, will that change the strategies of these teams? I don't think. No, it'll be the exact same here. One player of each going to the E-Hill on the bottom of the map. And it's all about this DROPSHOT once again.
So it's going to come down to whoever sticks their shotgun a little bit better, and neither team quite finding anything. Sergio and Co are going to be dropped, though. Leonard is going to be dropped himself as well, and actually it works out to be a much better shotgun coming out of Rdamage, and they're going to get control of the DROPSHOT here as well. We'll find pretty much every single kill that they could possibly want. Toaster's the only one to answer back. It's a good job that he did. Oh, no, honestly, I think, Rdamage would have been in control of this round. They might have already gotten it done. Toast now in a good fight against Strikers, but the thing is, they're just wasting his time. He needs to be trying to defend the hills. The domination's going to come through in 2-1. There's another round for Rdamage. 3 in a row. Looking very solid here, and these initials are just not going Rated R's way. When they do go their way, they win the round, but the last 3, they've struggled to do anything in and around that B site, and honestly, it's coming down to these shot grenades just not being as solid.
Yeah, and you can see the difference now in the two teams in terms of elimination. Strikers being that hammerhead aggressive player that he's always been known for, and he's actually having some great success in these opening shotgun battles. This could be the last round for Rated R on District. It's clear that these initials are crucial on District in turning them into triple caps. Meanwhile, placement-wise, not too much difference, but a shot grenade response in Rated R's camp, because Rdamage have been using theirs quite effectively. Yeah,
I mean, it's been there a little bit, but I think, in all honesty, I don't really get the grenade down to the bottom side of an arcade over towards the bandstand. Yes, it might help things out, but the problem is, if you are Rated R, you're losing this gunfight in and around this point. This is where your bread is being buttered, so to speak. And Strikers good this time around, though. Sergio is going to win the initial gunfight. Physics is going to be able to find the kill on him eventually, but is going to be dropped by the shock. Is just about going to be able to get out and will get himself back up. But control is there for Rated R this time around. Some aggression coming out of Dov and Toast as well, but here comes Reader from behind. That's going to open things up here. There's a big gunfight. Who can win it? It's going to be Dov. Nicely done from him. He will get a hold of DROPSHOT as he gets 2 kills. Rated R in a good position in this round. They're going to make the push now for the decap over towards D. Striker's trying to get something done. Leonard will find him as well. Zorkos now in a really bad spot. This should be around over towards Rated R. Zorkos is going to find one. Here comes the DROPSHOT, though. Just try and seal the deal if you're Rated R. You may well do that, but here come Rdamage. They will be able to break this one, and Sergio will have to back on down and will go down. So D is now going to go on the side of Rdamage, who are yet to get a point on the board. Dragons is going to catch Reader with his pants down, but still it's Rated R in control.
Nice Secret Man from Dragons. Is he going to go for that one beyond physics? Yeah, he does, but unfortunately we know they have control due to Rdamage of the D hill. Now they're going to be able to push. I mean, the points-wise, Rated R have great control, but they keep dying at this point as many players come off respawn. Will Rdamage keep pressurizing down here? They will get the break. So now it's just a matter of time, you feel as though, for Rdamage to use the resources. Although, saying that, Dov, he has other ideas. Great flashbang, pushes in despite the cross from Cougars. And now he has control of bandstand. Take it slow at this point, Chris, for Rated R, right?
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to do anything special. You've got the points, but I mean, if you get a hold of E, that makes things just tick down that little bit quicker. For Rdamage, you need to really make a move now. It's getting into the realms of impossibility, even with a 1 cap here for Rated R.
Thing is, Chris, DROPSHOT will be up soon, and so Rated R, that's all they need to focus on at this point, staying alive and getting the DROPSHOT. But Physics, he's really chopping into the lives now of Rdamage, but meanwhile Sergio going off down at the E-Hill. Cougars will fall as well, so it's going the way of Rated R. Just need to stop anything crazy coming in from Rdamage. Yeah, Sergio getting another double. Dov as well. This is the Rated R we like to see, Chris.
Yeah,
winning these crucial shotgun battles, and now they're back in the game.
Much more like it. 3 rounds is what they need, though, here still, Toby. Be 4 rounds in a row to stay in this series, at least anyway. They go 1-0 down. They just need 1 more if you're Rdamage. And it comes down the last couple of rounds. They've won those initials over to... Sorry, just this round. They've won that initial over towards DROPSHOT, and that is what is making the difference. Loadout is going to come through here from the side of Rated R. Sergio will now get himself some grenades to play with, and that, I'd imagine, it's going to go over towards the drop shot.
Yep, wouldn't be too surprised about that, Chris. As we can see, the round history at the bottom of the screen, it was 3 rounds in a row for Rdamage, so Rated R, they stopped that momentum. They did need to, of course, as Rdamage need 1 more round. Incendiary's actually going down at Hotel, and you know, you only get 1, meanwhile, but it could be that 1 kill, that 1 pick that really decides the E fight here. We know it's going to be a 1v1, so that could honestly be the dictator of who gets control there at E hill. See if Striker's going to drop.
He's going to go for it straight away, but they're just going to stick the shot grenade straight down. Well worked, and he will be taken down. Nicely done.
Good angle from Dove, that getting out as well with his life. Sergio being aggressive on Radar as well. He has right-hand advantage, damage as well. Will he find the pick? Yes, he will. I believe Radar. No, actually, Radar does stay alive for the second. Zorkos going to get drop shotted as well. This is all going so well for Rated R. Just find the remaining picks and convert that into points. Will they find Physics? Sergio being aggressive. Physics won't be able to get out. This is nice from Rated R.
Yep, super nice from Rated R. Actually, just applying the pressure. Here comes the drop shot through. I actually think that was a grenade that went flying in there. Strikers is easy pickings though. And suddenly now, if you Rdamage, you're going to be pinned back. But the thing is, Rdamage are the only ones to pick up points right now, so they've given themselves a cushion. Even if they are going to, you know, lose 2 different hills here, they're not in too bad of a spot. E is now in their favor. Of course, they have lost their home hill over towards F. But D and F works. It works really well. So, Rated R, quite happy to set up here. Yes, of course, the win condition will definitely be in their favor when we do get to that point. A little while off that, but Rdamage are lucky, if anything, that they did have that little buffer at the beginning of the round, because that is actually what's keeping them in this round. Sergio and Kodo just trying to put this fire down, just trying to keep applying the pressure. That's the thing. They're the ones being proactive here, trying to win these gunfights as best they can. It is going to be 1 at least going over towards Strikers. Sergio says, well, if you're going to take down my down teammate, I'm going to take down yours, and we'll find Strikers with the help of Dragons. Nicely done here from Rated R. But at the same time, it feels like they're finding the kills momentarily, but they're not finding them necessarily in the important places. D&E was momentarily in the favor of Rdamage. They will lose E this time round, but will get a hold of F. So, you know, Rdamage just moving around the map in the right places here, you feel, Toby?
Yeah, you feel as though they're just accepting the casualties, but not throwing their lives away after losing those team fights, and as such, Radar have to put in so much work to get the points. They have caught up a little bit. Still like a 30-second gap now. As the round progresses, Physics is stuck in this fountain. I like to call this the death fountain. You're stuck in no man's land. Tries to go for that mantle, but not going to work out. Elimination comes through. Meanwhile, as Radar do finally get those all-important kills, one after the other. And, you know, honestly, that was a great round from them. I mean, it wasn't, you know, nail-biting, shall we say, the plays, but it was just on an individual basis. They won those crucial shotgun battles just enough times to force Rdamage into submission.
Very well done by Rated R here, getting themselves back into this game. And honestly, it really has been down. You know, those 3 in a row that they lost was coming down to the fact that they weren't winning those initial fights. Now they're going to take the shot grenade out of it as well, which really was working for Rdamage for the most part. Hasn't in the last couple of rounds though, so let's see how this one unfolds. Rated R risking it, if you like. You know, it's less for them to work with as well. They believe in their initial prowess anyway. The Nasha's very strong. Cougars though, with those incense, will maybe make their way up. The flash is coming through. Sergio, can he create a little bit of magic? He really has not quite been there for Rated R so far. Not getting a lot done. He is going to put some shots in towards Strikers, looking to find the pick down the corner. He is going to find 1 drop at least for the rest of his team here to help back him up. Physics is going to go down. Zorkos is there all alone now. He has to come up with something quite magical here. Is he going to be able to find even 1? Not quite. Rated R. The wind in their sails right now, Toby. They will get a hold of the drop shot as well. They have lost E, but they're in a good position to go for that home hill hold.
Yeah, Incendiary in the back pocket for Cougars still, so we can use that to perhaps get a kill when Toast makes a play. You'd expect him to, just hiding around that corner, using third person. There goes the throw, and it does stop the break for now. He's got a really big task in front of him, though. He's going to play his life. Yes, he will. Runs past Toast to keep himself alive when the numbers are not in his favor. Nicely done. It's a great round start once again from Rated R. Rdamage perhaps be kicking themselves for not finishing this at an earlier point in this game. As Rated R, they've really picked up, haven't they, Chris?
They really have. We could be heading towards our first round number 9. And that's really what it comes down to. No more round number 13s. It's about round number 9s now.
Number 9s.
Well, let's see. Can Rated R force the issue here? If you are Rdamage, though, Cougar's trying to get aggressive, trying to force the issue himself for his team. He is going to go down for that. Look at the positioning here from Leonard. He's going to get wiped out by Zorkos. Turns around, meat shield available, of course, and pistol shots going down just will push them away, but if only momentarily. Doesn't have the advantage here either. Toast is going to find him, and they will push them back. Rated R looking to send us to this final round. The decisive round in round number 9, but right now, it's still doable here for Rdamage. It's not out of the question. A 2-cap would do it for them. Anything you noticed here, too?
Drop shot up in 30 seconds now, and Rated R, they have control across the halfway line throughout District, and they have the points advantage. Rdamage have it all to play for now at this point. As it seems, you know, that this could go to a round number 9, as you said, Chris. Incendiary in hands of Rdamage. Redder possessioned up top to prevent this quick pick of the drop shot. But with Rated R having such good control, 30 seconds on the clock. Redder doesn't know that Dragon's there, actually.
So he's put a good chunk into his life. He put a good chunk into Dragons, actually, and that's had to scare him away, if anything.
Drop shot is up. Here it goes. Redder looking for the quick pick, and just as the flashbang comes through, that was lovely from Rdamage, getting that flash. Meanwhile, the kills are going the way of Rated R down bottom. Baghdad has one drop shot left here. We'll have to make great use of that.
Well, that might get 2.
That's lovely. Strikers does actually fall to physics. Unfortunately, COG team will win in 3 seconds. I don't think any break will come through, Chris. We are going to a round number 9.
Round number 9 for the first time here. A decisive round. Yeah, 3 rounds in a row for both 2 teams. And I said last time, you know, it was Rated R who took the lead and initially didn't go on to lose it. This time around, though, it was Rdamage who had galloped ahead, if you like. Oh, you're not going to be spicy and stick something down in the mid-map for round number 9, are you? Go on. But the thing is, for Rated R, those mid-blocks, those mid-fights are going in their favour. I don't think you really need to change anything too much here as the utility grenades come through. If it's anything's going to change here, it has to be for Rdamage. Yes.
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 I agree with that weapon placement.
Do it.
Nothing too spicy, though, actually, to use that. Okay. Just use the spiciest thing available here, Chris. Boom shot down a bandstand. 1 in the chamber, of course, going down. And honestly, that's been a nice little fight for Rdamage with that incendiary.
Yes, that's the thing. They've got the incend over here. They've got the incend over here.
They've got the advantage, but that's going to change the dynamic completely. 3v1, big strategy actually differential here.
Yep.
One team is going for the drop shot in the form of Rated R. They get that quite cleanly, but can Cougar stop that in its tracks? He does find one. Huge. He does find the drop shot as well. That's drop shot out of play. Cougars, you've done your job. You can go to the death screen. Doesn't matter. But what can your teammates do now with the power weapon control?
Was it backpacked as well?
Boom shot, I think. I mean, the drop shot definitely was, but the boom shot, there we go. It's on the back of Strikers. I think he might have used that actually during that action. Dragon's all-important kill on Redder, actually, allowing his team to get control of the cinema. But Rdamage, they have points control, as they have the E-Hill with Striker's positioning.
Nicely done. And ultimately, I love the weapon placement coming in from Rdamage. It detracts away from that that drop shot a little bit, but then they still invest in Cougars going over there, and he comes up with the big play. And that might be the one that decides this map. Rdamage now sitting pretty here. Here comes the push from Rated R over towards E. Cougars, of course, setting up where they can. Strikers, though, he still has that boom shot available as well. Do Rated R know this, though? Here comes the push. Boom shot in. Dove dead. Here comes the push on the other side of things, though, from Sergio. Can he find anything here? He can find absolutely nothing. Rdamage converge around him, and that's suddenly a few members dead from Rated R. They're dropping like flies here. They just have to move away from Juice as best they can. The shot's going to come through on the other side of things. They will be pushed there. Toast is going to go down as well. This is looking like Rdamage, who have been bleeding the last 3 rounds, but just seemingly coming back to life here when it matters.
Yep, they've got all the kills necessary, have Rdamage to see this round out at this point. They've done the hard work. They just need to look at these resources in the form of drop shot and boom shot as they come up in 20 seconds time, Chris.
So there's still enough time here for Rated R to get back into this round. It's going to be coming to the point where a 1-cap will do it for Rdamage. The angle's coming in, though. Dragons is going to be dropped super low. Thankfully, not early enough to
Radar need to look for Cougars, yeah, they are. They're making plays down at E Hill. That's Cougars dead. Can they look for that kill over at the boom shot? Strikers have to go huge.
Out. He manages to find the kill on the Strikers as well. This could be it for Rated R, but look at the score in the top left corner. Rdamage are the ones in control of this, and now it has to be an F push. It has to come in from Rated R.
Big boom shot.
Boom shot goes through. Only lands a hit marker though. Will not find Cougars. They do have the drop shot available as well. There comes the Incend. He's going to find one. Sergio trying to get this done for his team. The domination has to come through. It's going to be a swarm win condition if Rated R can't get it done though, but they just seemingly walk through Rdamage. Is there anybody there to stop this? No, there is not. It's a round number 9 win coming in for Rated R. 5-4, 4 rounds in a row. The bleeding, we said it was going on from Rdamage, and it eventually continues in round number 9. What a push out of Rated R.
Impressive showing, honestly, from them. I thought as soon as Rdamage won that last team fight in the middle of the map that they just hold that out very simply. They didn't need to do anything special, did Rdamage, but unfortunately for them, Rated R really put their team into the next gear, start winning those all-important shotgun battles, rotate to the boom shot early, take down Strikers, and then, of course, despite Sergio's boom shot across the map, it doesn't really matter when there's an Incend in his back pocket.
It just takes 2 important gunfights there to win them.
Yeah.
You win the gunfight over towards DROPSHOT, you win the gunfight at boomshot, and suddenly you're on a prime position to win the round. It was a great Incend as well that Sergio sends out there after you got one player weak. You know, the boomshot wasn't necessarily used as well as they would have liked.
It really did come to that one kill to allow his team to push into the enemy's home hill.
Because then they can come in from 2 different angles. The flank comes through. Nicely done by Rated R. They will take map number 1 here against Rdamage. And that was a map last time that these two played. Rdamage won that one 7-6. Rated R this time round. Yes, it was an Rdamage pick, 5-4. And now we move on to the Rated R pick over towards Vazgar. Very different map, it has to be said. Very, very different map. So what will we see out of this one? I feel like we've definitely got a series on our hands here, though, Toby.
We have. Honestly,
I mean, the last one,
stuff.
It has to make up for the last one because that was over in about 30 seconds. So hopefully we get plenty of rounds in here.
Well, a spanner has been thrown in the works by Rated R there on District, and now as we go to their pick on Vazgar, as you said, very different. I'm curious, actually, to see how the weapon placements go. So far, we haven't seen anything too crazy weapon placement-wise in Pro League tonight, Chris.
I would say, you know, there was a couple there that, you know, sometimes you do see the home hill pushes coming through where you just literally totaling up and just mirror matching each other, whereas that one was a bit more strategy about where you were placing things. I really liked the last pick actually from Rdamage to put the boom shot down low next to Bandstand, but
it worked for them initially.
But then you need to win the second one as well. Of course, it does have a 2-minute respawn. If you're not going to win the round very quickly, then that is going to come back into the swing of things. But yeah, I think, you know, we've seen a couple of different things, and, you know, they were tactical things that were working in certain teams' favour. So I think it was nice to see from both of them. But Vazgar coming up next. What are we thinking now, Toby? Because, I mean, I thought, in all honesty, that Rdamage would take that map, and I thought Rated R would take Vazgar. So am I now staring down the barrel of a Rated R 2-0?
It could happen. I wouldn't be surprised at this point. I mean, I was about... What were we saying on the first half of District? That Strikers had the most kills as per usual, really setting his team apart from Rated R. But then that second half starts coming through. You see MVP Sergio taking his usual mantle and getting those all-important kills. Dov getting double kills left, right, and centre, and then taking Strikers down on that important initial for the drop shot. Anything's possible at this point now. Rated R, they've answered our queries, our concerns. Are they really in competition in those shotgun battles? Are they back to full form? That was really impressive for them, honestly, in those initials in the second half of District. They just need to carry that form into Vazgar now, and importantly for Rdamage, they need to respond after what was 4 rounds in a row for Rated R.
Yes.
And Rdamage had a really big round lead on a map they've previously been very strong on against Rated R.
Yeah. I think it's an interesting one going into map number 2, and I'm curious. You know, I think, you know, if Rated R win this 2-0, it really does play with the standings as well heading into the last week. So we'll be really going down to the wire before we go over towards San Diego. Of course, EU's finest, they're very much on a plateau at the top there. They're looking very, very solid, but the rest of these places are quite open. It has to be said. Bearwood could potentially drop last. I'm not going to necessarily say that's true, but, you know, they'll be teetering on the edge at least. I think Rated R, if they win this 2-0, should be in a good spot to move on up, but we will see. There's plenty more gears to be played, and we will have that confirmed at the end of the night, whatever the results are. But we are going to be heading into map number 2 in just a second. what are we thinking now then? So because I'm feeling Rated R 2-0 after that one.
Well, my predictions ruined. I said Rdamage 2-0, didn't I? So
well, you're done.
that's out of the cards. So I need to shift
Alex
a little
would have got
bit.
it right.
Well, Rated R, you've proved me wrong. You've done the hard work. You've shown that you are turning up here, and they need the win this week more than anyone else. They're at the bottom of the table. Rdamage, they're sitting comfortable in second currently, I believe. Obey did, of course, lose 2-0 to EU's finest here. This is important for Rated R in the grand scheme of things. You know, they've shown that they've got the potential. They would be so upset now not to finish this off 2-0. Even.
A 2-0 would be really important for them. Even if they won it 2-1, it would be good, but a 2-0 would be even better. You know, when it comes down to round count, comes down to results against each other, etc., etc. So these are all important things. We are going to be loading into Vasgar in just a second. I'm keeping an eye to my side. I do actually have the screen loaded up to see where we're at. We haven't quite started the map, but we will be getting everybody in the lobby and getting started up. So far, though, I mean, we're very impressed with EU's finest in game number 1.
100%.
Do you feel as if it's like a bit more of a return to form now? They seem to, like Rdamage, they seem to progressively be getting a little bit better as time gone on. Obviously, in week number 1, there was real like cat amongst the pigeons thrown in when Rated R beat them 2-0. You know, me and Free were like, well, we expected them to prove a tough game, but the fact that Rated R won that. And it's strange to see, isn't it, the fact that Rated R went in series number 1 of the EU Pro League and smoked EU's finest 2-0. And now you look at how it's turned out. EU's finest just on a trajectory, an upward trajectory,
100%.
looking very, very solid. Rated R have looked worse as time's went on.
They seem to be proving us correct in our assumption that perhaps because the game is so new that everything's up in the air currently.
Yeah.
And now that EU's finest seem to have a good grip of escalation in Gears 5 and these new maps, they seem to be performing flawlessly. They didn't really make any mistakes earlier. Obey, it wasn't so much what they did wrong, it was just what EU's finest did right constantly, outplaying as a team individually, and as such, EU's finest looking as strong as ever currently, and you'd expect them now to actually say, hey, we are actually going to separate ourselves from the pack at this point. I know Blaze was talking about that in quite detail as going into today's and next week's games. EU's finest, I think they'll be happy with themselves. Rdamage, though, they need to come back in this current game, Chris. They are second as it stands, but that is not set in stone. And Vasgar, of course, is that second map coming in now. Prediction-wise, Chris.
Yeah.
Do I flip-flop? Do I say
I mean, it would be very easy
opposite?
to, considering Rated R 1-0 up.
Statistically speaking.
Yeah, I mean, this is a Rated R pick, and the fact that they picked it after not winning the map once is bold, but the fact is that Rdamage have not played this map. I was right. I knew they hadn't played it.
Yeah.
So that does make a difference, and maybe Rated R are saying to themselves, well, we feel good about this because we know we played this plenty. We've had a couple of close games, both with Obey Alliance, if I remember rightly. So they feel nice on this map. Maybe the changes have made them feel even better about it, and that's maybe why we're seeing it. But for the first time, we will see Rdamage on this map. Of course, they go over towards the Cog side. Rated R will be on the Swamp side.
Yeah, big 2v2 fight over at that B-hill already getting underway as Strikers does find the better of Sergio. That all-important head-to-head there of the Icebreakers for the team. Simple 2v1 now for the players of Rdamage to find Dov. There will get central B-hill control. Meanwhile, as we flick over to the C-hill, Cougars close and personal. Redder will find him, though. Domination going to be blinking, but look how close the spawn is to this hill. If you are new to Vasgar, welcome to the stream, as here come the numbers just flying through for Rated R. It is so simple at times for you to retake that C-hill. It is such a difficult one to dominate on if you're not getting those kills very quickly.
And they just keep the momentum rolling here. If you are Rated R, in a bad spot, which suddenly turns into you having two different hills. Strikers maybe caught with his pants down there. Sergio's going to find one. Can he find one onto Rita as well? It's good movement, not good enough though. Rita will find him. Can he find the second onto Dov here as well? Just going to roll in. Leonard and Cole will clean this one up, and they're rotating all the way over towards B as well. Dov is going to get taken down by Cougars, and Zorkos is there for support as well. Cougars will eventually clean this one up. It's a 2v2 now as Cougars and Cole trying to stay alive here with physics. Toaster is going to be decapping B. He needs to try and stay alive as long as he can and wait for the rest of the team to then push on through from their spawn. Cougars will take some shots, and if I'm honest, they need to win these gunfights. They do win these gunfights. Dragons and Toast do well, and they will keep Rdamage just about at bay here.
That was great from Cougars. He was just playing his life that whole time on the cover, waiting for his teammate Physics to come up in the back and patiently waiting despite that triple cap looming. Very well done from him. Of course, a relatively new player for Rdamage is Cougars, making the roster change in recent times. Spaniard, of course. Comes toast, though, as he isn't aware that Redder is hiding around that corner. Secret Mane. Points. Very similar, actually, for both these teams here, Chris.
I don't really get anything done here. Dragons has been pushed back now and will make his way over towards A, maybe just to get a little bit of a power play up top. As Rita now has to back on down, just going to defend. He's home. He'll take plenty of shots, but will survive. Expecting the push to come from up top. It's actually come from down low. Dragons comes through and will find the kill. They should be able to get a hold of A here. I don't know. Is this going to give them the win condition if they have both? I potentially think so. It'll be very, very close. Yes, it will.
Yes, it will.
Just
and they
about
have numbers as well, actually, Chris. 4 players of Rated R here, converging on this B hill from different areas, but Toast is running a little bit too early, perhaps you'd argue, as Cougars has no damage on him. He's going to come up in the back, but not get the point blank. Doesn't matter as Zorkos starts getting kills. Melee start being thrown, and the COG side will respond on this B hill, but can they respond elsewhere? Yes, they can. Strikers wins that all-important 1v, and the elimination comes through. Unfortunately for me, Chris, I mean, they had the numbers, did Rated R, but they just looked a little bit too scrappy. Perhaps go in at the right correct times.
It was overzealous for me.
Yeah.
They're in a position to win the game with a 2-cap. They go for the 3 to dominate, of course, and in the end, they do just about get pushed back here. So, round number 1 going over towards Rdamage, as it did in map number 1. But they went on to lose that one, so I mean, it would be harsh to say a 50-50 chance of winning the first round is maybe the omen to say you're going to lose the map, but Flashbang's now put down.
Both teams,
no
mind
surprises.
you.
Yep.
Complete match. I think we've seen that just yet. It's always been smoke or flash contrasting or elsewhere. Placements on the map, but it is equal here. 4 players, mind you, going over to B for Rated R now. They're changing things up. They're looking to be aggressive on this side. Meanwhile, we've got 2 players of Rdamage flying over A, and yep, thank you. Rated R is about to say, if you're not going to play aggressive at the B hill with 4 players, rotate back to protect your home health rather than sitting there. But being caught out, hey, Chris.
Yeah, Leonardo's going to be dropped. Cougars is going to clean that one up, and they should be able to push over here on towards A very, very quickly. Nobody in control of B either. This is going to be Rdamage totaling points up. They are actually going to make the push over towards B. Toasters maybe chose the wrong direction. This could be a domination coming in for Rdamage. Just about gets in there in time for the rest of his team to then come on through. It is going to be dropped by Cougars. It still could be a domination coming through. Here comes the rest of Rated R. The flash comes through. They will be able to break. Can they find the kills? No, they cannot. They're just getting wiped out in waves here by Rdamage. A convincing round as you're ever likely to see. 2-0 now. 58 seconds is all it took. And they double their lead. Nicely done by Rdamage.
Outstratted were Rated R, simply put there. I mean, if you have to throw 4 players at a neutral hill like that, you have to go fast. You have to go immediately. Instead, they just sat on their line, if you will, and didn't make any plays on a single player, looked aggressive. And as such, Rated R, they were caught with their pants down. They had to turn back on themselves, caught out in the middle of nowhere. And Rdamage kept their lives and saw it out in the end. And honestly, Rated R, perhaps they'll be kicking themselves at this point. Weapon placement-wise, I don't think that will change things up too much, although... It's
different, though, isn't it? It's something different on both sides of things. So the Retro Lancer going down on the side of Rdamage.
Again, from Rated R, on the C side of the map. Make that 5. They're all flying over. They've given up B hill straight away. 5 players on this side of the map. They need to move. They need to use the numbers at this point. Chris, and Zorkos has got a Retro waiting for them.
The Retro is there, as you said. Zorkos will quite happily rain that down upon them. They're going to have to back on down as that shot grenade does come through. It's nicely used, actually, by Rated. I really like that. And it's going to allow them to push around the left-hand side. They should be able to get a hold of A. They're going to push them away as well. But, I mean, in this scenario, if you are Rdamage, you push over towards B, you get control of that, you rotate over towards C, and just out-rotate them.
Yeah, simple. They've already done that. 3 players of Rdamage have rotated behind Rated R using
and now they've got a pinch from 2 different angles. They can potentially do something here against Rated R.
The important thing is Rita doesn't overextend here. He gets the downs, but he doesn't want to get outnumbered before his teammate comes. Zorkos actually does come through. Cougars perhaps should get picked up, but no. Cougars turns back on him. Dov does find a kill. So Rated R, they get the kills to stay alive in this strat, but they don't have enough kills to start making plays just yet. It's going to be an equal 2v2 push here, and they need to make it.
Toast is the important one here. He didn't really take too much damage, and he will just get taken down far too easily. It's now the A hold going to come in for Rdamage. Sergio Has to go massive for his team here. He's been pushed from 3 different angles. He is dead as a doorknob. Felix will find that kill, and now they push over towards B. This could be the domination coming through for Rdamage, who looks so good here on Vazgar against Rated R. And Rated R just been out-rotated, it has to be said.
Simply put, the Rated R, they're going for these extravagant plays, these strats, 4 players to home street, if you can call it that, on Vazgar, and they're just getting pinched. Rdamage are reading the rotations and setting up accordingly. They're keeping the points at bay, they're keeping their lives when Rated R do throw numbers. And now another push comes in for Rated R, trying to find strikers. They do get that, but they need to keep moving. They need to move quickly as points are building elsewhere on the map.
It's looking so good for Rdamage here.
Yeah, kills
it's
again.
Looking so good. Physics finds 2. Looking for a 3rd with the pistol. Not going to be able to quite find it, but honestly, you feel like the damage has done everything. Decap. Nobody getting any points here.
Honestly, Rdamage's goal right now is just to stop the Rated R push in their tracks. They've been doing it so far successfully. Leon are trying to find strikers on right hand. Not too successful just yet. Points-wise, Rdamage, they have 1 B hill. They can take it as slow as they want, Chris. Just play your life at this point and don't give Rated R any potential on any win condition. Well,
Rdamage, to be fair, you're talking about how they only need so little. They're continuously actually just running through Rated R at this point. This should be 3-0. There's still a 50-second win condition, and it could be turned on its head, but every single gunfight is going over towards Rated R. Apart from that one, of course. Dragons is going to find 1 under physics as I curse him to his death. Shot's going to come through here, but they're all in the favor of Rdamage once again. Nearly everybody dropping. This may well could be a domination going to come through. Leonard really needs to go massive against Zorkos here. Good movement. Isn't good enough shots, though. Zorkos will take him down. This should be the round. The elimination does come through. Nobody choosing to respawn back in. 3-0 to Rdamage. We did see 3 rounds in a row in the last map, though.
We did.
And they still went on to lose that. So there is time for Rated R here as the game does start to develop with weapons being placed. But Rdamage, honestly, irrelevant of weapons, just look so much more secure on the rotation, etc. They just look to be in a better spot. Longshot now placed, and that's what I love to see. So make sure we're watching somebody who picks that up straight away there, Toby.
Yeah. Rather, it'll be
I know.
slight place down for... Oh, okay. For Rdamage, a passive play. And again, Rated R, they want to continue this aggressive approach to this game, it seems, by throwing Dropshot down.
But the thing is,
hill.
Going for the Dropshot there is
but
meaning
they're not sending 4 players for this one time. I mean, yes, there's a sniper there. Are they going to be... No, they're actually going to go get the shot grenade, in fact. So they're not going to go for it straight away.
So shock v long shot, essentially, for this Dropshot.
They need to make this placement count.
Who's got the long shot here?
Disable this long shot. His strikers, not the aggressive player, of course. That is on the front line this time. He is picking up the sniper instead. As things do slow down for the time being, it looks like Cougars is fancying himself in this 1v once again. Will strikers look for that body check? All it needs is 1 body check, but no, Cougars actually get pinched. Rated R do turn around this time round and catch Cougars out. Rdamage, are they responding elsewhere after losing a player? They are looking for it, but Sergio is holding his own despite being on left-hand disadvantage. Rdamage finally pressuring through. They find Dov. This is a big team fight indeed.
It's a massive team fight. Dragons are going to try and come through. I think he catches a few flush there. He did find 1, and as does Leonard, so momentarily it is advantage over towards Rated R on this side of things. Rita has to make the push. He's going to get taken down. It's a long fight here for this drop shot. Eventually, the domination is just about denied by Cougars over towards C. The shot's going to come through into Toast as well. He will be able to clean this up with the help of his team, and we'll have to back on down. But the damage is maybe already done if you are Rdamage. You lost a couple of gunfights. You've lost the drop shot. You don't have control of 2 points. Dragons is going to try and force him away. I don't really know why Dragons got so aggressive there, to be honest with you. The drop shot comes through from Sergio, so should still have something available there. He's going to have to back on down. I don't think he does, you know. I think he's used both, but it doesn't seem to matter. Nasher in hand, very solid with that as well. Cougars is going to go down. It's looking like a round for Rated R for the first time here on Vazgar. Going to have to back on down. Strikers will catch him out. Gets the meat shield, but will get taken down himself. It is momentarily looking like Rdamage could get themselves in control, but the ones with the lead is Rated R.
Yep, there you go. Physics does find Dov. And honestly, Rdamage, they've looked textbook. They've looked flawless so far this map. In terms of a team basis, the rotations are just so on point. Rated R have looked desperate. They need to get some kills to get them going. Zorkos and Cougars get 3 kills between them. The B-Hill exchange should be changing now. The points is in favour of Rated R, but Rdamage still do have control of this map.
Is the win condition coming through for Rdamage.
in the middle.
Dov trying to get something done, really caught between a rock and a hard place here. They will keep a hold of it just with a little bit of his help. So,
oh, look at this rotation, yeah.
That's a big fat rotation over
4
towards C.
players.
I love that. I don't know who that was from Rdamage who dropped down into crater to then move back round to help his team. But really heads up play, but is it too late?
And that's the thing, Rdamage can just stay alive a lot more easily, it seems, than Rated R. And this is the result. They get the numbers back, the reinforcements to start fighting back against Rated R's significant pushes.
I think you're very right there what you say. If that was a Rated R member in and around C, he probably would have propped himself up against those boxes and went for the 1v4 fight. Whereas it's different for Rdamage. They rotate around, they know where to use their numbers well.
DROPSHOT as well picked up near at B for Rdamage, so they have all the tools to get this done. They have the win condition. Break. Comes in, big drop shot. Not going to find Toast, he reacts just in time, but numbers still in favour of Rdamage. These are the only players alive here at the C Hill for Rated R. They have to go off, but no, they cannot. As Rdamage seem to be seeing this round out very comfortably. As the win condition still clearly in favour. Rated R, look at this push down B. This needs to work from Chris, it needs to work right now.
Tell you what, they've got potential here. I think a 2-cap would do the job. They're very, very close. They need to capture it really quickly though. I'll get both members on there. They're going to. A and B goes in their favour. Swarm will win in 9 now, and suddenly this is Rated R looking like they may be able to get around here, but the A push is going to come through from Rdamage. Which way is this one going to go? It's going to be very, very tight. Cog team to win it in 1, and the rotation comes through. Nice answer back by Rdamage from a late push out of Rated R, but a 4-0 lead is what Rdamage deserve, in all honesty. That's the best we've seen Rated R look so far, but Rdamage very dominant so far on Vazgar.
Yeah, improvements from Rated R there, but you know, the general consensus of that round, just like this map, is that Rdamage just leading the way. They're always one step ahead of Rated R. Rated R, they look desperate at times, I'll be honest, Chris, with these pushes. They're looking for these crazy shotgun plays over towards the power weapons, over towards these hills, and it's just not paying off because Rdamage are always leading the way in what's to do next, and that's rotate typically. 4-0. Just need to change automatically. Rated R. 4 players again, sat in front of that drop shot, but they're not doing anything with it. 2 players trapped on tank with left-hand disadvantage. Rated R, you need to move now.
The movement comes through. Cougars and Physics are the ones winning the gunfight. Nearly everybody dropping here from Rated R. They're going to win this gunfight as well. Rita does eventually take down Dov, but Dragons is able to answer back with 1 kill at the Strikers, but he's going to be put in a rough spot. The elimination is probably going to come through. That's another round for Rdamage. Wow. 5-0. There's the map.
There's the response, Chris.
Oh, yeah.
Fair play to Rdamage. They were simply the better team. That was raw domination. It's not even the round count, I'll be honest. Even if Rated R took some of those rounds, it could have been 5-2 in the end there, it wouldn't have mattered. No. Look at the eliminations. You know, Rdamage having their way, all players having their fair share of the shotgun kills, if you will. And honestly, I think the story there for Rated R, again, their pushes, they look desperate. Every time I brought the overhead map up, it seemed like the Rated R were trying some crazy strategy. This is basics, Chris. If you send 4 players to one side of the map, leaving your solo player on the other side, you need to be aggressive. But instead, Cougars, he was having his way elsewhere on the other map, getting those kills, forcing Rated R to come back on themselves. And typically, Rated R really just didn't do anything with those numbers, even on that stronger side.
What I will say is it felt like Rdamage just had a much better grasp of the map. It's not that linear, 3-lane sort of typical symmetrical map that you do see in Gears of War. It's very much a circle, and you've got to rotate in the right direction. Rdamage always just seemed to be that little step ahead every single point. Whichever way they needed to move, they moved there correctly. They won the gunfights there as well, and that's why they win 5-0. A very, very convincing map number 2, which sends us over to Asylum. And honestly, I don't really know which way this one's going to go. You very much would think the wind is in the sails of Rdamage with a 5-0 win there. They'll probably be kicking themselves, though, because they know this could be 2-0. They were in control of that last round on District. If it hadn't been some good play out of Rated R, this one would be over. We'd be ending the stream. But we aren't going to go over to Asylum as it goes. Who are you fancying then? Because now I'm really not too sure. I thought Rated R will walk away as winners of that one. What I would say is that's 3 times they play Vazgar and they haven't won 1. So maybe just never play it again if you're Rated R.
Maybe just leave it be. Yeah. I mean, this is the thing. Vazgar is a very unique map. It's asymmetric, and Rated R, they tried some crazy stuff. It clearly didn't work out. But that is Gears basics, as I said, numbers. Asylum, this is a practice map. Rated R. You do need to stick to basics because that is typically what you're stronger at, but not right there. We're back on Asylum now. Get your act together, essentially. This is more point. Rdamage did really well, but Rated R, pull yourselves up by your bootstraps, because this is going to be a difficult map otherwise, while Rdamage are performing so well.
Yeah, this is much more of a typical like linear strategy
map, isn't it?
sort of Gears map. So maybe this works out a little bit better for Rated R. You would expect so based on what we've seen on District, which was a relatively strong performance. It was a close game, but I think if you lose a map in that way, surely it's going to play on your mind going into map number 3. Surely.
I mean, big time. It is definitely made them forget about District at this point. Okay. They've had a really good win on District, but that's just been thrown back in the face as Rdamage respond. And, you know, props to Rdamage, speaking on that. They didn't let District get to them, did they? One bit. They were just clearly their experience showing against the relatively new team in Rated R. And honestly, with Asylum and having your first to 5 and boom and drop on center, things could be a little bit different. Of course, we're used to seeing drops being thrown up top on that B hill. Or the E hill rather, on that second half. Things could be a little bit different now, and I'm expecting Sergio and Dov especially to really push in and be their usual selves with their shotgun. They need to really pull their team up, get those shotgun kills from the get-go. Yep. Otherwise, I just see Rdamage having a cruise sail here on the rotations.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those maps that's not so easy to rotate. I think it's maybe a little bit easier on the first rotation of hills where you can go for the home hills on the 2 sides of the bridge. But I think that it's not so easy to do it on this map as it is on Vazgar. So I'll be interested to see how Rated R respond. In all honesty, I think it's tough. It's going to be a tough situation to be in. You know, you get beat 5-0 just like that, and you're lucky to be in this game still, it has to be said. You pull off a good round in that last round over on District, and eventually you find yourself going over towards last map. We're going over to Asylum, which is really the most played map in the EU Pro League, at least I would imagine in the Gears Pro League, full stop. I mean, it's so popular, and you just feel as if the better all-around team usually wins Asylum. Usually is the case. So Rated R now need to get this one done, and it's strange to not have confidence in them because it's 1-1. You know, at the end of the day, they won the more basic map in District 5-4. They lose something a little bit different on Vazgar 5-0, heading over to something a bit more basic, a bit more Gears. You would feel as if you maybe lean towards Rated R, but the way that Rdamage played in that previous map just shows why we have so much faith in them here. Rdamage played this one 4 times, won it 2. Rated R twice, and only won it once. Round percentage win does just about go over towards Rdamage, but these numbers are close. It has to be said.
They are very close. It's not
Rdamage with more experience on a competitive stance.
This is the thing. Asylum, I find a very important component of this map is just staying alive on an individual basis. You can get caught out so easily if you do overextend in the traditional sense of the word, go a little bit too far on cover. And I think Rated R, they need to make sure they don't give away silly lives like they have previously on Vazgar. See if they can do a bit better now, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, giving away silly lives is really what Rated R pretty much do. If they don't win these initials, then they're always seem to be in a bad spot. When it pays off, they're great. Like when everything is flowing well, they look fantastic. But the only team looking fantastic right now is Rdamage. Somehow Sergio breaks on through. Dragons is there off the respawn. He's going to break on through and then break into pieces due to the Nasher of Rdamage. Very well done there. 1-0, a very quick round. And it's one of them ones though where the respawn timers are still quite high, so you're not going to really put too much stock into it from Rdamage's point of view. But a very, very solid start there for Rdamage. Rated R not really getting anything done, if anything. A really good start.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised now, weapon placement-wise, if both teams go with the simple utility placement. But
would make sense.
You know, Rated R, if you want to throw a boom or drop down the middle of the map and change things up in an instant, do it. Be my guest, because Rdamage, they're really having their way at the moment. But no, once again, both teams starting off their map with a flashbang placement near homes. And I think, you know, if you're going to go for that heavy strat, that unorthodox push, Rated R, this home street is a good opportunity to do just that because of how difficult it can be to cut through the middle. Will they do that? That is the question. No, they will not. It will be just a base strat on both sides. And actually Rated R being aggressive through the B hill.
Oh, nicely done, Strikers. Can he spoil the party? Not quite. Sergio finds 2. Nicely done from him. He's literally probably my favourite player to watch in the EU Pro League. Rated R may well be bottom. He may be one of the most deaths. But
he's entertaining.
When he gets amongst it, his movement is fantastic to watch. Really just flies about the place, and sometimes when he finds these kills, he really does just make players look like mugs. And at times, he's inconsistent, but when he is really firing, he's a hard player to outgun and outmaneuver. Leonard now inside of A, not going to be able to get anything done. He's going to be dropped by Sergio. Once again, just killing everybody in his wake right now. Physics is going to find Toast, but on the other side of things, and they will get the home hills. This may be the domination going to come through if Cougars can't find something, and it's going to be denied over towards B. Cougars now making the push over towards A. Is eventually going to be found. These team have done what they needed, though. Got a hold of B and denied that rated R domination.
Rdamage, though, they do keep the composure. All rated R playing to their strengths. Flying through to the enemy home hill after winning the initial at the neutral. And Rdamage will simply be waiting for respawns to come through now. Physics lit up just a little bit. I won't make a play on him just yet as the train does come through. But as it stands, Rdamage regrouping on the home hill to look for Sergio. I'd like to see Sergio to pull all the way back. Yeah, play it safe. He has had a great round so far, but he does need to keep his life. Of course, a very important key to victory, if you will, on Asylum, in my opinion. A unique characteristic is just keeping your life when close to your enemy like this.
Plenty of Lancer Fire coming through from Leonard. He is going to push Physics away. Zorkos and Cole seemingly running for the hills here in this round. Rated R very much in control. And I think they just rolled with the punches here. In all honesty, they've all played their lives well. They've been winning the gunfights and just continued to do so. Flash going to come through. Zorkos trying to stave off the push with one of his own, but he's already been Lancered down. This should be a round for Rated R. Everybody dying from Rdamage, and it's as convincing as round number 1 was from Rdamage in all honesty. A little bit slower, but the job is done. Rated R tying things up. One apiece now.
Yeah, that's your basic rated R, right? Keep the pace of the game going and never really set up, truly, right? They did, of course, pause when Rdamage got the B-hill control. I like that they didn't just throw themselves at Physics when he got a little bit red there on the tracks. But instead they regrouped, Dragons ran through, got the call out, had the nice little flank leading to that elimination. My concern, of course, for rated R is that, you know, that typically can't sustain itself unless you do have clear-cut shotgun battle victories, but I don't think Rdamage will be given up that easily, shall we say, on the initial. Let's see if the weapon placements play into that a little bit.
A little bit different, that. Spreading the resources, if you like, rated R, putting all their eggs in the shot grenade basket. And we'll try to use that over. Well, I'm not too sure. It is actually going to be Toast to take that, and he will go for the A hill, so maybe it's going to be a home hill push, but the rest of Rated R concentrating their resources in around B, as the rest of Rdamage rotate back over towards the home hill, so maybe they want mid control, maybe they want bridge control. They're currently getting that, though. Sergio somehow finally shot on the strikers there. Yeah. Just about in time. He will pay with his life. And pay with B, and C being in the control of Rdamage. Toast can go no further, as that shot grenade has really just not helped himself at all.
Nope. He would get angled out from the train tracks, so can't really make plays.
I mean, the C push would have been what they wanted there.
Yeah, they needed to go. They needed to go
and then
forward.
The shot grenade is just completely shut it down, and the shot grenade came from right outside of things. I think it was actually Toast with it, so that maybe not the best play coming out of Rated R. That not fantastic, has to be said.
Yeah, I mean, they're not very good at being reactionary. Rated R, I think that's the biggest criticism, right? If they're not winning and being proactive, it's clear that they're just not the best at responding. Here comes Strikers, does find Leonard. Great little shotgun battle victory there for him. You know, it's a 2v1 essentially. And he's managed to take a kill and stop Rated R from doing anything further with that casualty.
Rated R now. Words are hard. Rated R now in control here. Looking solid with it as well. A nice little setup on this map. Sergio will be important if he wins this gunfight.
It's risky from Sergio. They've got control here. Yeah. He doesn't need to have a nice risky
Would you expect anything else?
Correct. Yeah, you summarised it there perfectly. Dragons, meanwhile, though, getting that double kill, allowing Rated R to push up on the tracks. Looking for Physics as well. They're going wide in him. That's pretty safe. Cougar's trying to react through the middle of the map, so he's going to be looking to prevent this triple cap. Toast has clocked him here. Big shotgun battle. Cougar's going to... No, actually... It won't be a triple cap potential coming in for Rated R. They've stopped. Strikers does find Sergio. As Cougars does finally get taken out. He's just lurking there. As Cog will win in 30 seconds. Chris, if things do not change, Rdamage looking to apply pressure here at the B-hole.
Looking good for Rated R. They're in a solid spot. That train's probably going to help them out as well, just to slow down the push. Here comes Toast from behind, though.
Brilliant back air, that was.
Yeah, really nicely done against Strikers, and that might just cut away a couple of the resources. They're going to have to try and push him out before they want to make the push towards B. They eventually do get rid of him. Can they find Dov as well? This is a big gunfight. They find him. It's not going to be enough, though. Just too little too late, you feel. Hold on, I tell you what. Big gunfight going to go on here. Zokos dominating from the grave, if you like, or trying to at least. The domination is denied. Leonard is going to get pushed away. How has this happened? If you're rated R, you're 2 for it. You're 2 points away. It does not matter. Dove just about gets there in time. Oh, just about finds Rita. Can Physics make the push through? Not quite. They will just about win it. Oh, wow. That was very, very close. That was very, very close. 3 minutes it took to find a rated R round, but things got spicy towards the end there. I was writing them off. Honestly, I had our damage just looking like they were going to dominate. Just about got in if you're rated R.
Yeah, there was a point there that Rdamage, honestly, they didn't have to cap that last hill. They could have just tried to, play it slow and prevent the cap coming in from rated R and really, force those false overextensions. But no, rated R, they do hold the nerve on in the end despite a really good attempt from Rdamage. And yeah, that really caught us by surprise. I'm sure fans alike in the stream. But 2-1. Radar certainly not out of this yet, Chris.
Absolutely not.
And thankfully, they are showing that they can play a bit more comfortably here on a more gear-centric map in the form of Asylum. In terms of placements, nothing special. We have 2 shocks again from both these teams. Nothing,
Shock halved on the side of Rated R. Yeah,
exactly. And of course, this is the last round of the half. You know what, Rated R? Try and get to that B hill quicker. Use your numbers. And see if you can start off here with a bit more impact, but no, they've been a little bit slow. Sergio, he's been caught out here. Striker's got their first. Damage is not on his side, and Zorkos isn't even going to contest that fight over the wall. Here come the reinforcements and Rdamage. You know what? They just take 3 down there, already looking for that flank from Toast.
If they can get rid of Toast and Dove here quickly, they're going to be in a really good spot. Here come Rdamage converging on C. Can they get something done here? Zorkos is going to find one. Physics trying to find Dove. Now has the help of his teammates, but here come Rated R off the back of the spawn. Everybody going down here. Everybody hitting the floor. It's going to be Zorkos remaining just all alone. Here comes the flash. That's going to help him out as well. Here comes Dragons though, but here comes Rita. The support comes through. It's going to be time for Toast to be able to break this one, but is it going to be enough? It doesn't feel like it. Sergio, they just keep on running through. It's like a train of rated R players, and they eventually get some sort of controversy just about. It's early in the round as well, so they have plenty of time to play with yet. And they will actually get some control over towards B. If they send everybody over, they will send everybody over, but nicely done by Rated R, just about to survive. Rdamage, unfortunate not to take that round.
Yeah, perhaps, Rdamage should have taken that 2v1 against Toast a little bit coolly, more calmly, shall we say. As Toast was able to get quite a bit of damage on both players and kill one. Here comes Rated R over at the B hill. They managed to break it. They're certainly not out of this just yet, Chris. They just need to keep their lives now. Reset, calm down their strategies, and just wait for all players to ready up for a big play. You see Dov just taking up control here in the middle corridor. Everyone is sat in a strong position. It's now the onus on Rdamage to make the play on these train tracks.
And the grenades have come up in play as well, so they could be there to help the push come through, you feel?
There is time. There is time 100%. To play with. 70 seconds. It is a nice little lead for Rdamage. But Cog, of course, with that win condition. There is the push that Rdamage need to make over at the B hill. Big shotgun battles now. Leonard on his own. Cougars with the double at star player now performing as he's known for back in Gears 4. Toast does get down though, meanwhile. Anything's possible at this point as Dob comes through, and you've just spotted it as well. What have you spotted, Chris?
But that Rita is no longer going to come up, neither is Leonard. So it is actually momentarily a 4v4 as Respawn's starting to come into it. Strikers is down as well. 3v4 in favor of Rated R here. The lives reset after this round. So we're in a totally bad spot here. If you are Rdamage, this should be Rated R 3-1 if they use the numbers to their advantage. Saying that though, a 2 cap might not be enough here.
Yep, they need 1 hill, do Rdamage.
They just need 1.
One hill and Redder, he isn't alive. There come the angles. Rated R, you just need to use your numbers at this point. You need to be aggressive. They got the break in time.
Domination
will come through.
Nicely done.
Very interesting round actually there. Redder just about to run out of lives, and that could have been the difference maker in that all-important team fight at the end there. Yeah,
and it's come down to that in the end. There's been a couple of occasions where they've had to throw everybody in, and with slaying very much in Rated R's favour. It's just been such a topsy-turvy game. It's such a close map number 1. An absolute blowout by Rdamage on map number 2, but here we go. Rated R 3-1 up at the half yet. As we do change our points. We are going to go back over towards the entrance or over towards the bridge, as it's more aptly known.
Look at the numbers though. Rated R, 4 players over towards that E-hill, not being aggressive. Perhaps they should have been taking those covers that you can see that Rdamage player or two taking on E. They've rotated down the middle. Are they going to do anything with it? Yes, they are. Here comes Dragons on the back. Physics hasn't clocked him though. This could be it to confirm this capture and the kills. Physics will get taken down. Or rather, he'll get a kill himself, somehow staying alive in that situation. No idea how, Chris, but it is not going to be ideal as a number situation over at the E-hill.
Yeah, not ideal, but they've done enough. The fact that the kills did get traded away is okay, and they will still stay in this round.
You'd expect Rated R to do a bit better there. I mean, I'm surprised Physics would have stayed actually stayed alive at that point. They do get the E-hill, mind you, so let's see. Kuka's flying through, flashbang perfect, and he takes advantage. Great up A on Leonard. And will they continue this pressure? Rdamage, again, rolling out there, not overextending as that first player, Redder, got taken down. They got the capture, and that's textbook from them. No lives thrown.
Well, currently it is just about, or was Rdamage winning the game of tug of war up here. Ever so often is, isn't it? It's this case where, you know, it's just trading the hill. Who wins the gunfights? Who can get a hold of it and then win the gunfight when the pressure comes through?
Great shot. Just cut off one player and left Physics on his own. Nice little 2v1. Capture coming in for Rated R now. They can just roll back at this point and play it safe once their health is regained. Actually, we've got a bit of a pinch. Dragons comes through the middle once again. Gets one kill. Leonard follows up. And this could actually lead to a domination here. Red is going to fall. It is.
Everybody drops and suddenly Rated R just turn it on its head. 4-1 now. They are 1 round away from taking this series, and it would be a big one for them. They take map number 1 in the final round. They get battered on Vazgat. But right now, though, they are running through Rdamage, and that comes down. I know you'll be saying to back it up, but they had so many opportunities to flank. They've done that a couple of times now. It's been Dragons each and every time, and that's why when they are up top there at the top bridge, they can then collapse so quickly. Cog loadout coming in for Sergio. He will get a grenade. The other side of things, though,
you know, Rdamage, they don't need to respond. They don't need to respond with a huge weapon placement. You know, they've clocked Dragons twice now, coming through the middle on the flank. They're going to be watching that like hawk, I think, at this point. So.
I mean, I'd argue against it though, because they've lost 4 rounds in a row. So it's like, well,
again, do you change it up? It is the second half. That was 1 round. Do you rely on that change of dynamic to see you through? Right now, eliminations-wise, it is of course all Rated R at the top there.
No, you just risk it all, Toby. Risk it all.
you just want intensity, do you, Chris?
Yes, I do. Yes.
You know what? I wouldn't disagree at this point. Oh, look at this from aggressive for aggression from Rated R. Sergio already getting it down before I can get up to the scoreboard. He's flying through. Shot grenades thrown, and Leonard's going to get caught. Zorkos staying alive as the dust settles. Only 2 players left alive of Rated R. Dov trapped in this corner. Simple flashbang for Dov. I think Zorkos will follow up on this kill. Just going to get control of the E-hill. And this is what I mean by Asylum. It's so important staying alive up top here, because you can get caught out so easily on these small covers. And that is something that Rated R need to keep a very close eye on now. Big flashbang. Redder staying alive. Perfect. He saw it coming. Sergio tried to be snappy and get him before he can run away.
And here goes the tug of war, where Rdamage should be able to push back through.
Nice little count. 2 downs. Rdamage going to follow up. Another. This revive chain, is it going to be enough? I don't think it is. Rdamage is just going to keep running through. Dov stuck in a corner, taken down. Nicely done from Redder. No lives lost for Rdamage, and a capture of the hill. Very well played from the French side.
Nicely done, but here come Rated R once again. That game of tug and war up top. Who can win the... It's just like a damage battle, isn't it? It's a damage battle. You put the points down, people have to then back up, then you can maybe make an advantage push to get yourself in a better position to then capture the E-hill. It is Rdamage with the...
Love it.
Category to win this one, though. It's a very good shot grenade, as you point out, though, Toby. Strikers is the only one to answer back, and they can't make the push here. This should be E over towards Rated R now. Leonard will just have to try and back on down here, though, as the aggression comes through for Rdamage. Here goes Zorkos. Plenty of shots going to go into Leonard, but he's going to maybe get a little bit overzealous just with the pistol out. Here comes the aggression from Leonard. Rita is going to find one at Sergio. Leonard now in a bit of a 1v2, getting a little bit too aggressive. You maybe have to see him back up there. So now Rdamage will flow on through. I think he was probably dead anyway, let's be honest, but Rdamage now in control of E.
Honestly, excellent play from Leonard getting that down initially, but even better from Rita. Staying alive in a 2v1, get the kill and the revive instantly. Very common play in previous Gears games. His experience shows that very important moment for this team fight. Nice little shock, trapping Dragons. Sergio gets downed as well, and this is where the war attrition gets even more important.
Point out that Dragons is already down to 0 respawns.
Oh, you've spotted that very quickly indeed in the second half. My oh my. Strikers with the double. That's another kill as well. Toast the last one alive over that E-Hill. Elimination coming through, and Chris, Rdamage are not out of this yet. A difficult round, but they see it through and end that all-important rated R streak.
And they get a lot out of that as well. I want to just check the respawns when we can. Let's have a look. So 2, 3, 4, 3, 3 on the side of rated R. On the other side of things, though, it's a little bit healthier. I thought it was maybe a little bit more than that, but it's definitely a couple of kills, a couple of respawns, I should say, in the favour of Rdamage. Let's have a look at the weapon placements to see what's going to go down. It looks like a shot grenade is going to be half there on the side of Rdamage. How are rated R going to answer back? It's probably going to... potentially.
He's thinking. I mean, he's dragging his cursor across the screen.
Yeah,
and
get rid of it.
At this point,
yep.
Yeah. Have a shot grenade
so you
advantage.
have ultimate control up towards E here. You have the shot grenade. Rated R. It is in their hands here. It feels like it's in their hands.
They have the ability to really be aggressive here. They can either trap Rdamage and use their numbers to ensure they just do not survive that team fight.
But if I'm Rdamage, I just don't go too near it, to be honest. Let them have it and then try and take it back when the shots are gone.
You can see Zorkos actually, he was kind of very aware of that shot grenade coming through, and they've just played their life perfectly. Redder getting down to physics, Zorkos as well. Rated R, they're having a terrible time at E-Hill. They thought they'd have it easy with that shot grenade, but Rdamage, they read it very early on indeed. And now, Rated R, they're against the wall.
Rated R had the shot grenade and they'd find absolutely nothing for it. But this time around, it's just, as you said, it's that war of attrition up top. Backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. Who can gain the small advantages? Here we go from Rated R now, looking to try and put this one to bed. The final nail in the coffin. Rita's in a terrible spot there, but the shot's going to come through from Cougars just to support him. But this looks like we'll just about go over towards Rated R. They should be able to jiggle the hill as much as they can. They get a hold of it. D&E now in their favour, but you feel the push coming through from Rdamage at some point here as well. And the thing is here as well, both these teams being very linear. It's just literally head-putting each other over towards E. Which way is it going to go this time, though? Dragons is going to find 1 and 2. Eventually did drop 1, but Cougars eventually was picked up. Good shot's going to come in through. Zorkos is going to go down, as you said. Some meaty shots taken by Arita. Yeah, Rated R getting very, very aggressive. The push comes through from Rdamage. It's not quite enough, though, as everybody is dropping. 3 members remaining and 5 remaining from Rated R. They are hunting here as well, Toby. Physics in a bad spot. Strikers is dead. They know they're just trying to find a couple more kills here. Shot's going to go into Physics. It's going to be put between a rock and a hard place. Luckily for Rdamage, they are trying to get a hold of E here, but they haven't got it. If you surely just go for the domination here, the domination could be coming through over towards E. They go back towards F. Rated R could just close this one out here. Have to be careful of the trains coming through.
They have a huge points lead now, though, at this point. The triple cap opportunity is gone. I want them flying back at E at this point. Rdamage, the onus is on them. They don't have that shot grenade, of course. And this is what they do have for Rated R, that shot grenade to delay time. This could be it, Chris.
That could be it.
Rated R just need to hold on to their nerve and play their lives.
25 more seconds for Rated R to get a huge win against Rdamage. This will put them in a much better spot. Rita's going to go down to the train as well. Check the timetables, buddy. He's coming flying through. Zorkos and Kodo are going to get a hold of E, but I think 1 hill should be enough for Rated R to close this one out. It will be if they can hold on to it for 20 more seconds. The overextensions come through from Toast as well. He couldn't have played it better. The kills are now in the favor of Rated R as well. Toast wants to put this one to bed. Rita will put him to sleep momentarily. I don't think it'll be enough. Rated R will take a huge win against Rdamage. 2-1. And they just played basic gears, maybe a little bit better than Rdamage there. They did it just about on map number 1 with a 5-4 victory. They get slaughtered on Vazgar, but then come back with a very convincing win on Asylum. 2-1 Rated R. It's the way I predicted it, but not quite in the way that I thought it would roll.
You definitely win the prediction game.
I 100% won it.
I mean, yes, you predicted the game, but who would have thought it would have gone just like that?
Yeah, it was weird.
You know? Yeah. 5-0 on Vazgar. Do we really think Rated R would return with such a convincing round count there on Asylum?
You wouldn't think so. You know, it's one of those where I just never want to see Rated R ever pick Vazgar again. This is how we found ourselves with a Rated R 2-1 victory. District went over to Rated R. Very, very sensitive. It was, I think that's where, if you are Rdamage in this game, you look towards that final round over on District and you say to yourselves, well, we were in a really good spot. We lost a couple of gunfights, lost everything in terms of map control, in terms of power weapons, and then we ultimately lose the map. Because of that, they go through and slaughter them on Vazgar. So if you are Rdamage, I mean, that's one positive they can take from this, is that they definitely feel confident on Vazgar. They hadn't picked it before this. It slips its way through. They play well on it. But then over towards Asylum, questions will be asked of Rdamage. 5-2 to Rated R. And they just won that war of attrition up top, especially in the second half. They were just battling backwards and forwards. I honestly thought Rdamage were going to come back into it when we seen the fact that Dragons was then dropping down to so many low lives. But in the end, managed to stay alive for a couple of rounds, gets back into the swing of things. Looked good for Rated R in the end. Really, really solid.
I think the moral of the story for Rdamage actually is to close maps out at this point. I mean, honestly, Asylum, they was pretty neck and neck. I don't think I could criticize Rdamage too much there. It's just Rated R seemed to have the better game in the war of attrition, shall we say, especially in that second half. But no, concerning times for District, of course, because there were so many rounds where Rdamage could have closed it out, but Rated R came out of nowhere. They weren't having a great game with Rated R at the start on the home street. Rdamage seemed to be controlling that. But of course, 4 rounds in a row, I believe it was, for Rated R in the end on District.
Yes.
Rdamage, you only needed 1 round. I think that's where, if you're going to blame at any point, of the performance for the French side, that's it for them.
Yeah, not very good. Not very good for Rdamage this week. However, they will retain their second place spot as we have a look at the standings. They will stay there, but things are a lot closer. OB Alliance, terrible, terrible week for them, unfortunately. Yes. You run into EU's finest, and then in this case, you're now in a spot where you are last because Rated R take that game. Very, very close, though. It could completely change up. We've got 1 more week to go here. So, but the only thing that is pretty much certain is that EU's finest remain at the top. You aren't playing on Rdamage again. Rated R can't catch. So, EU's finest absolutely finishing in number 1 spot. However, for the rest of them, looking at it, so Rdamage will play, if I believe right, they will play OB Alliance. So, Rated R, if they got to win against EU's finest, Rdamage are still in a dangerous spot here. So, all to play for in the final week. It's going to be interesting before we go over towards San Diego to see how this one ends up. But it's all about the relegation battle now. It's all about that. Rated R need to find a big performance up against EU's finest, if I believe correctly. Yeah, that should be right. They haven't played them in the second span of things. So Rated R have it all to do there. But OB Alliance are sitting in that 4th spot. It's not looking good for them.
Yeah, I think now that this week is done, looking at that Pro League leaderboard for EU, I think things have returned to homeostasis a bit more. EU's finest, they finally have actually separate themselves. They've got 2 win differential from everyone else. Everyone else on 2 wins, trading wins from each other, and Rated R back from what has been not great start for them in this season. And OB, of course, have dropped to the bottom now after playing EU's finest.
Yes.
Those things could change, though. Rdamage, of course, as well for them. Not too successful tonight. And those 3 teams, they're neck and neck, and EU's finest have separated themselves, of course, most importantly.
And I think the disappointing thing is for Rdamage is the fact that they've went to 2 map 3s the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, you're right,
and they've lost them. Yeah. So that's a disappointing thing for them. But we will close that one out. The meta may have changed, but who reigns on top in EU is not changing at the moment. It has to be said, EU's finest looking as good as ever. Can they close it out in week number 6 with another win before San Diego? We'll find out who is going to be in the relegation battle next week. You don't want to miss it.